Hi there and welcome to my channel. I'm Rachel and thanks for joining me today. I've got another granny square tutorial for you today. This is a Farmhouse puff stitch granny square. Looks quite difficult to make, but it is very easy once you get your head around making the puff stitch. It is a very easy granny square, and look, it makes such a beautiful blanket, baby's blanket, or maybe a throw for your couch. So let's get started making this granny square. I'm using my 4mm crochet hook, and I've got some double knit or 8-ply yarn. And we're going to start off with making a slip knot and a magic circle. And the way I make my magic circles, I'm going to chain 5, and I'm going to slip stitch into this first stitch to make a circle. So into this circle we're going to be doing our puff stitch. So to make a puff stitch we're going to yarn over, put our hook into the circle, pull through, that's 1, yarn over, hook into the circle, pull through, 2, yarn over, into the circle, pull through, 3, yarn over, into the circle, pull through, 4. So I count them 1, 2, 3, 4, but you should have 9 loops on your crochet hook. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through the 9 loops. And then we're going to chain 1, and that will close the puff stitch. There we've made 1 puff stitch. So we'll make another one, yarn over, into the circle, pull through, that's 1, yarn over, into the circle, pull through, that's 2, yarn over, into the circle, pull through, 3, yarn over, into the circle, pull through, that's 4, then yarn over, pull through the 9 loops, and chain 1 to close the puff stitch. So we've got 2 puff stitches on there. Then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to make another 2 puff stitches into our circle. So we'll do the first puff stitch. That's 1, and 2, and we'll chain 2 again. And we're going to make another 2 puff stitch into our circle. And you have to push them around so you can have room to add another puff stitch. So that's another puff stitch and chain 2, and then we're going to make another 2 puff stitches into the circle. Push that around, and then we'll chain 2. So you should have 8 puff clusters into your circle, and then I'm going to slip stitch into this first puff stitch we made, and you should have 4 little squares, corners like that. So that's our first part done. Our next round we're going to chain 2, and this will count as 1 double crochet, and we're going to do 1 double crochet into these 3 stitches here. And then we're back to the corner here, and we're going to do 1 puff stitch, chain 2, 1 puff stitch. So we'll do the first puff stitch, 2, 3, 4, then chain 1, and then chain 2 and another puff stitch. And then pull through and chain 1. So we've made the little corner, and then we're going to work 1 double crochet and the 3 stitches along the side. Like so. So we're back to the corner. We're going to make 1 puff stitch, chain 2, 1 puff stitch. So that's 1 puff stitch, chain 2, and 1 puff stitch. Chain 1 to close the puff stitch, and then we'll work 1 double crochet on these 3 stitches along the side, and then we're back to this corner, so 1 puff stitch, chain 2, 1 puff stitch. Chain 2 and 1 puff stitch. Okay, and then we'll work 1 double crochet in the 3 stitches along the side. And then we're back to where we started, and then we've got 1 corner to do. So 1 puff stitch, chain 2, 1 puff stitch. And then chain 2 and 1 puff stitch. And then we can slip stitch into this first double crochet we made to close the square. So that's our corners with 2 puff stitch and a chain 2, and then double crochet along the sides. So we'll do another round, so chain 2, and this will count as 1 double crochet, and then we'll work 1 double crochet along these stitches along the side. And every round you'll have extra double crochets to make as the square gets bigger. And then we're at the corner, so 1 puff stitch, chain 2, 1 puff stitch. And then chain 2 and 1 puff stitch. And then we're going to work 1 double crochet in the stitches along the side, and you'll see we've got extra stitches now. Then 1 more just in this top of the puff stitch, and then we're back to the corner, 1 puff stitch, chain 2, 1 puff stitch, and then double crochet down the sides. So I'll let you do that and I'll get back to you in 1 minute. So I've completed the final corner, and then I'll just have 2 stitches to make double crochets, and then slip stitch into the first double crochet we made to close the square. And slip stitch in there, and there's our square. So you can see it's a very pretty granny square. And as your square grows, you'll get more double crochets along here, and in your corners, 1 puff stitch, chain 2, 1 puff stitch. So I'll just work one more round just to grow the granny square a little bit bigger. So I started off with chain 2 and 1 double crochet in each stitch down the sides. And see, I do a stitch in the top of that puff stitch, and then I've come to my chain 2 in the corner, 1 puff stitch, chain 2, 1 puff stitch. And then our next corner. Double crochets down the side, our corner, double crochets our corner, and then slip stitch into the end there. So there is our farmhouse granny square, and it's such a pretty granny square. I just love it for blanket making. You could have different colours, beautiful baby blankets. So thanks for watching my video. I hope you found it easy to follow and you can make some beautiful blankets for yourself. Take care, and I'll talk to you next time.